Court to order. Everyone please rise. You all would please join me in prayer this morning. Father God, we come together here, and this meeting acknowledges the freedom that you have given this country from its lower farms government all the way to Washington, D.C., to express itself, to worship you, to express ourselves in ways that will help one another. Father, sometimes we fall short of that. We ask you to forgive us of that. Father, we ask special consideration and look out on those who provide public service that may become in harm's way, that you will yield them safely from that situation. And Father, this morning we especially raise up our friend, Commissioner Lee Harvey, whose mother is at this time suffering from a heart attack and is in the emergency room at Graham. We ask that you be with them and heal and guide and care for them. Father God, we pray in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
If you join me in pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Take your seats, please. Yeah, it is. Usually it's cool in here. Yeah.
Normally
Hey, Chief, would you mind hitting those two switches on the far left, and it'll kick? I'm not Navy, Chief.
Well,
sit down. Yeah. At ease, sailor.
Oh, heavens, Colonel.
Yeah. Don't call me Captain. I know. I'm teasing. I've been honored because I never could tell that rank apart on a Navy place. I just saluted everybody until I made Carl. But at any rate, do have some special recognitions we want to make this morning. One of those, Melvin, are you ready to do your deal? We'll recognize. All right, y'all come on up. We'll do that. Y'all are going to have something called National Night Out. Is that what it is? We used to have Bob Hampton and I did that in college, but I don't think it meant the same thing. Go ahead and explain to everybody what this is about.
National Night Out is when we get all of our neighborhood watch programs together. In Wichita County, we're blessed to have several neighborhood watch programs started. And it's a night for them to come out and meet with each other. There'll be a lot of displays from Aerovac, their volunteer fire departments, a lot of information available to them to help make their neighborhoods and communities safer. It'll be a fun night. Come out and have a hot dog and chips and a drink and see the equipment and meet the people.
That sounds great. We do have a proclamation to recognize National Night Out for 2019, whereas the National Association of Town Watch is sponsoring a unique nationwide crime, drug, and violence prevention program on October 1st, 2019, entitled National Night Out. And whereas the 36th Annual National Night Out provides a unique opportunity for Wichita County to join forces with thousands of other communities across the country in promoting cooperative law enforcement, community crime prevention efforts, and whereas the Wichita County Neighborhood Watch programs play a vital role in assisting the Wichita County Sheriff's Office through the joint crime, drug, and violence prevention efforts in Wichita County and is supporting National Night Out 2017 locally. And whereas it is essential that all citizens of Wichita County be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs and the impact that their participation can have on reducing crime, drugs, and violence in Wichita County. And whereas law enforcement community participation, community partnerships, neighborhood safety, awareness, and cooperation are important themes of the National Night Out program. Now, therefore, the Wichita County Commissioners Court hereby calls all citizens of Wichita County to join in the Wichita County Sheriff's Office and the National Association of Town Watch in supporting the 36th Annual National Night Out on October 1st, 2019. Guys, congratulations. Thanks for doing this, this effort.
Appreciate
but
it.
You all go well beyond that in your community sheriff's program and things, and it is appreciated. I hear a lot of favorable comments on it from people, so thank you very much.
Appreciate it. We hope everybody comes out 6 to 8.
All right.
If I can
Yes, sir.
congratulate real quick, because he won't say it. Last year, they had the largest gathering in the county at their night out. And that includes the city here.
All right.
They had the largest group.
So that means there'll be fresh hot dogs this time. Yeah. All right. Very good.
You're
Melvin,
doing
thank
a
you.
great job. Thank you.
You gonna come up and do that, or you?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Do you want to come up? Okay. I just brought this up too, if you want to make nominations. Yes. I'm getting out of it. There you go.
Me and my fellow JPs decided that this was the month, since we just started this, to put Terry's name into the hat. We're very, very proud that she did win. And I'd like to read you what we wrote. I only had so many lines. Put it down, there was so much. But I put, Terry's been the chief deputy for the CMO for the last 12 years. She has implemented and maintained a professional relationship with any person that is called or came into the office for questions or answers. With Terry's knowledge, many come to her with questions, and she will find out and point you in the right direction. Terry has been a godsend to all 5 of us justices of the peace of Wichita County, and especially this year with 3 new judges that were elected, and she has went above and beyond to help them navigate the magistration or reading of rights, along with the conditions of bonds that are mandatory for certain charges. Her knowledge is so valuable to any of us 5 judges she serves. With the transition from the CMO to the duties of the office formerly known as the CMO, Terry has still excelled our expectations. She will jump in and help any department to help them complete their jobs with our new system. Terry more than deserves this award today, this month, and for all the years she put in for Wichita County. First and foremost, in complying with the laws and keeping Wichita County from having lawsuits against them. Terry Weitnammer has the respect of each of us, and we believe she should be the Employee of the Month.
Next, say anything?
I've really enjoyed working with all of y'all. Everyone is different, and it's fun having different personalities and keeping everybody where they need to be. Yes, thank you.
Well, Terry, if you were gonna be here next month, you would probably still be an employee of
This
the
is her
month.
last week. Friday will be her last day.
Yeah.
We
So-
appreciate her.
But I want to tell you how much
Commissioners
I've,
took our budget out, so that's why we no longer have her.
Janice, do you have anything to say? Judge Sons, would you like to say something?
No, I just appreciate, I worked with Terry from The Simpsons Today. She walked into this courthouse, the most efficient, capable, hard-working employee in Wichita County. And Terry, I'm sorry we let you down and we're having to lose you, but you have been an asset to Wichita County in every way possible. And where you're going, they are mighty lucky to
Yes,
have
they
you.
are.
And I'm sorry the commissioners did not see your wealth as well. Thank you, though. Thank you for all your years of work.
we do have one other thing. Constable Brewer, Chief Brewer.
All right. Amanda, I need you to stand by your husband.
There's a song like that. Stand by your man, I think.
Okay, this is actual formal swearing in ceremony. Raise your right hand. Do you, Lance Brumley, swear that you will uphold the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the state of Texas, so help you God? Yes, I do. Right. Mrs. Brumley? I need you to pin your husband. And if you draw blood,
I was gonna say, draw blood.
I'll fall for that a third time. Okay, 20.
Just 5?
Hold it. Look at the picture.
How do these cameras work again? Okay, stand there. Act like you just did. Put your hand out.
Oh, it's still working.
You know, like you're still working out. Freeze. Yeah. Okay, that's it. All right. Congratulations.
Took off.
Judge,
sir.
What was Janet talking about?
She doesn't know how to read, is what she's talking about. They all read in 409, it said temporary on position 1. Then they decided that was, and they went off on that tangent. And I said, you could come ask the people who write the budget what that means if you can't figure out when it says 01. It's only done that for how many years? She's full of it.
Found that car, I found it over there Friday. One of the reasons maybe why we're having a hard time placing it, it's not an Explorer, it's an Expedition. Which makes a difference when you go to looking for the title and
Well, yeah, I think so, but if you go by the VIN number, it shouldn't care, should it?
care.
No, okay. But hunting for the keys,
I still don't know where it came from. Or, anyway, we'll figure it
well, I
out.
bet you if Sheriff Department ran that, they'd have it.
Yeah.
All righty. Could I ask the court to take action on the consent agenda with the removal of item number 9?
Motion approved, Judge.
Second. And Judge, I have a couple of just
Okay.
clarifications, I think.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Item 9 you said was hold-
Removed. It's removed. It's going to be paid for by the Purdue.
I just needed clarification on 4, 6, and 7.
Okay.
I saw email, but I just wasn't, I wasn't aware or sure of what was transpiring on the Nationwide Life Insurance Company.
We've had them for years. They're a deferred comp program. My only concern with them, they do not send anyone here representing service clientele. You have to call them. They're not here. But we have a fair number of, I'm not sure how many people actually now are still using them, but there are people that,
It's something we continue to offer annually?
yes, sir.
Okay. And what are they asking to do?
It's just update the contract.
Oh,
Molly, you didn't see anything indifferent in that. You had looked at that. I didn't see anything.
No, they're essentially, they're trying to lower the guaranteed, minimum interest rate on the plan, and I've talked to the auditor's office, and I don't know if anybody is here from their office today, but they didn't seem concerned with it. We just need to figure out which option we want to go with, but they're fairly similar. It should be part of the packet that we sent to you,
Yeah.
but that's about it.
I can't imagine them wanting to lower the minimum interest in this day and time.
Judge, public comment. Was it?
He did. I didn't see it.
Up front, the public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that, sure did. We got carried away. We can go back to it. Okay, let's go ahead and finish this, and I'll go back to that. I even had it highlighted, too. Okay.
Item 6, Judge, dealt with the psychological services, and I'm assuming that's
That
for,
was for an expert witness.
Expert witness.
and does it tie in with 7?
Must be two different
I
cases.
didn't know really what,
There wasn't a
No,
lot
sir.
with 7 to explain that.
7, they hired them simply to go through and do an outside forensic audit of the finances. They're both DA items, they're both things we normally pay for out of the other public legal payments.
the reconciliation of bank records, is that a personal
That
bank
probably
record?
had to do with a fraud case.
See, 6 has a cause number, ties it to a case, and 7 does not, if I'm reading it right. It's just an invoice number.
But they may have,
But I think they're separate. I mean,
they are, I don't believe they're the same, but I
they're not,
didn't,
it's not noted on that 7.
they weren't unusual expenses to be paid. They just don't happen very often, but
Kind of
they,
normal procedure.
Yeah.
Not the first one we've had on
No.
that to forensic, bank statement study.
no.
In fact, I remember one in particular, but
Okay, yeah. Thought you might. All right, any other comments, anyone on the consent agenda items? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried 4-1. And I'm sorry, we'll go back to public comments. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak and has filled out the form, and you have 5 minutes, but we cannot engage with you or take action on the item? So is there anyone this time? All righty. We are down to item number 1 on business, and this one, y'all, I have to bear with me because there's some requirements of what has to be done. Item number 1 is a public hearing on the authorization of Wichita County's participation in a county healthcare provider participation program pursuant to Chapter 292C of the Texas Health and Safety Code, including the collection of mandatory payments from non-public hospitals located in the county to be deposited in a local provider partnership fund to be established by the county, and the amounts of any mandatory payments that the Commissioners Court intends to require for fiscal year 2019. We have Mr. Bob Pert with us from United Regional Healthcare Systems. Bob, you want to go ahead and just give the overview of what this does so people have that?
Yes. Good morning, Judge Dawson, members of the court. My name is Bob Pert. I'm the Chief Financial Officer of United Regional. First, I want to thank the county for your leadership and your recognition of the need for this program, helping us pursue it today. Our hospital serves a large community, Wichita Falls and the surrounding area. And we are the health care safety net of this broader community, where we serve the needy and the uninsured. We gladly accept this responsibility, but our service to the community is challenged by the millions of dollars that we forego as it relates to the uncompensated care provided to our patient populations. As a result, we are constantly looking for efficient and innovative ways to fulfill our commitment to the patients we serve. Under the leadership of Governor Abbott, the state has worked with the Trump administration to create several supplemental programs that are designed to help Texas hospitals, like ours, to offset a portion of this uncompensated care. These programs are very critical to our hospital and other hospitals across the state of Texas because they basically provide half of the funding that comes through the Medicaid program. In order to participate in these supplemental programs, Texas hospitals rely on local governments to access the non-federal share of the dollars that are needed to access the federal or matching dollars that we're hoping to come back. The manner in which we historically have accessed these funds, supplemental payments, is no longer permissible under the federal rules. Consequently, we, like many other hospitals across the state, are seeking another acceptable path to access these federal matching dollars. During the past legislative session, with the support of Representative Frank and Senator Fallon, the Texas legislature gave a near unanimous support to grant Wichita County the authority to generate those non-federal dollars by creating a local provider participation fund, or LPPF. Under the LPPF program, the county collects a mandatory payment from non-public hospitals located in its jurisdiction, and those funds are then transferred to the state, and then they are transferred to the federal, who actually match those dollars, and they come back to the eligible hospitals in your jurisdiction in the form of a supplemental payment. The LPPF would not in any way impact the local taxpayers. It is merely a pool of money that is financed by the non-public hospitals, which we use to access these supplemental Medicaid dollars. The supplemental Medicaid payments help us maintain our mission, providing high-quality service to every patient that comes through our door. The local provider participation fund in Wichita County will allow us to access those federal matching dollars without asking the state to use any general revenue dollars, without any form of tax on the residents of Wichita County, and without any form of cost to the patients we serve. We remain very engaged with the non-public hospitals hospitals in our county that will be subject to the LPPF expense, and join them in support of the county implementing this program today. We are confident that the LPPF program will bring the same benefit to our community that has brought to many other Texas communities who've already implemented LPPFs across the state. I want to thank you for your leadership, and we'll pass it on to Matt Gilbert if we have any additional technical questions that you may have.
Okay, very good. One of the things I want to be, all of the other local providers who will pay into this fee signed a letter of support also for this. So we have not had any objections. Is there anyone in the audience that has questions about this program? It will be beneficial in that it will draw down additional federal dollars. Now, I'm going to tease with you, but you said no local money. Well, all money that comes through the government hands is local. Even though our federal government is really nice about just going ahead and printing money when they need it, but it does start from our pockets and get there, but it will come back and it won't be so many local dollars being placed into it. So that match will help out. When I was at we were talking about uncompensated care in just United Regional annually is around 50 million. Am I recalling that right? Or
Each year it varies, but it's just tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Each year it goes forth.
You may be polite, maybe I'm reading, but I remember a figure of 51, and I thought in that briefing the other night that everything coming together, uncompensated care, was a big number. So, at any rate, there are no other questions or comments on this. I will close the public hearing on it, and we'll move into the item itself. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, sir.
And once again, bear with me while I read an even longer item. Discuss, consider, and take action, appropriate action on the creation and authorization of Wichita County Local Provider Participation Fund pursuant to Chapter 292C of the Texas Health and Safety Code. Item A, consider approval of an order authorizing Wichita County to participate in a county health care provider participation program established by a local provider participation fund, collect a mandatory payment from non-public hospitals located in Wichita County, and use the funds collected for the purpose of specified in Chapter 292C of the Texas Health and Safety Code. Item B, consider approval of an order implementing the requirements of Wichita County's participation in the program, including item creating the local provider participation fund, opting the model rules and procedures related to the administration of the LPPF. 3, requiring non-public Wichita County hospitals to submit to the county a copy of any financial and utilization data required by and reported due to the state health services under the Texas Health and Safety Code sections 311.032 and 311.033. The next item, 4, designating a depository bank for mandatory payments received by Wichita County. Item 5, setting the mandatory payment rate for the fiscal year 2019. And item 6, authorizing the county judge or his designee to execute such documents that may be necessary to carry out and effectuate the affiliation between Wichita County and United Regional Healthcare Systems.
We need to take each item separate?
No, we can do them one and do it all. That's why I read them all out.
Okay.
I didn't see that there was going to be that. Most of it is all boilerplate. And
Motion to approve, Judge.
Second.
A very difficult process to bring more funds to the local area.
yeah. Okay. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-1. Mr. Hampson, are we going to continue to use our depository bank as we have in our agreement? Is that?
That is correct. The account is open. It's really not difficult. This is just a typical government deal. We're not increasing any of our income, the way I understand it. This is just one of the methods by which we're replacing previous existing income. So
Yeah.
It's,
And it will add to it. We do get
well,
$20,000
we
for
get a
that.
bunch of guys from Travis County up here visiting us.
All right.
So
We do get-
everything's good to go, and the county is open.
Good.
Well, thank you for your help in it. All right. Do you know if LaDonna was going to have, okay, Molly. Oh, we have some paperwork for you to sign, so we don't get in trouble with LaDonna.
She texted about it.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Y'all are welcome to stay, but, you know, you got a root canal or something you want to go do instead, well, we understand that. Thanks. Good to see y'all. Oh, we just announced that. Well, maybe Steve Jackson can move up.
Fit right in.
Yeah, right now he would, yeah. Woo, okay. Item number 4 is discuss, consider, or take action to approve the parity quote in the amount of $128,473.76 for water damage to servers in the courthouse with payment from general fund contingencies with reimbursement from Amoresco. Commissioner Beecham, you've been
We missed
piloting.
item 3, but we can go ahead.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, yeah, no, thank you.
I probably did too.
Yeah. No, that was
Brothers,
me.
yeah, but-
Okay. Review and approve the regular bills for payment. People would appreciate
So
that.
moved.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just received word a few seconds ago that Representative Thornberry is not going to seek reelection. So that answers the question that we had asked him about a month ago, so.
It's not very good news for
I don't
No.
think that's good news, but anyway, didn't shock me when he said, I'll let you know in October.
Well, he surprised you early.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Okay. Any comments or questions on the bills? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries 4-0. Item 4, back to the parity quote.
Yeah. This is due to the damage that occurred with the air conditioner leak over the server room. It is fully reimbursable from Amoresco. This is just to approve the purchase. We will re-invoice Amoresco once we receive the items. Visited with them this morning, and everything is, that's the mechanism that they would like to use, is us just invoice them and be reimbursed.
Okay. What are we doing to track the IT hours, maintenance, and others hours?
They are, George is tracking, we talked about tracking the hours and being reimbursed for the hours as well. And if we get into the move of the servers, it will track those hours as well.
Okay.
So just motion to approve.
Okay, there's-
Second.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, anyone in the audience? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 4-1. Item number 5, discuss and consider take action to approve the purchase order of a number 5533 in the amount of $19,570 to be paid from WatchGuard Video for replacement of the server that was affected by flooding in the courthouse server room, to be paid from general fund contingency with reimbursement from Amoresco.
Exactly as item 4, so motion to approve.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Did we lose some information, Chief, do you know?
Not yet. I hope we don't lose any
scale servers we shut down, the vendors did not want us running them until they had a chance to look at them with new hardware on site. So hopefully we'll be able to recover all the data, but we don't know that yet. So that's kind of where we're at, we're just in a holding pattern, waiting on hardware.
When's expected delivery on the bulk of this?
I think the scale should be here this week. The WatchGuard, I'm not sure.
So we need an answer post haste on.
We do, I'm gonna move that rack up there regardless. The one rack that's right directly under the AC unit,
Okay.
and, hopefully we can go ahead with the relocation of the, main components in the server room as well.
Sounds good.
Okay. We've got a motion and a second. No other comment. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 6, discuss, consider, take action to approve mobile phone of Texas quote number 190404 WCSO in the amount of $1,604.50 for emergency lighting for the sheriff's special response unit to be paid from 10560.3452 public safety equipment to the line determined by the county auditor. Chief Choate?
Yes, sir, what we did was, we took some of the old equipment that we've been stripping off of these other old vehicles. The main cost here is gonna be, converters, because we got 24 volt going to 12. We're going to put lights and, on that deuce and a half that we have, special response unit for floods and that sort of thing. And so it's also, we're going to put a radio in it too, so that's what that cost is. The main thing is going to be labor and the converters.
Okay.
Motion approved.
Second.
I didn't see that in your all's list of capital items, but that probably is one that developed since you made your budget for this year. You all didn't have that budgeted for, I don't believe, for replacement. Okay.
Chief,
The good news is that the vehicle didn't cost us anything, so that's,
Yeah.
That's one of the 1033
Yeah.
government.
Yeah, and Chief,
hand-me-downs.
I've been recipient of that machine working, and when we flooded out there, and it was the only way to get in there, and rescued some of those families that were stranded, and it was amazing.
Okay. Is there a second?
Yes.
Second, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion, anyone? Okay. Motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the item as stated. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item 7 is receive an update on the Law Enforcement Center Amoresco project. Commissioner Beach.
Well, the Amoresco project that was tooling along really smoothly has hit some hiccups in the last couple of weeks. Found out last week that hurricane or tropical storm Dorian affected the factory that was building our boiler, our steam boiler. It shut down production of the factory. They're running about 2 weeks behind. So our boiler that was scheduled to be delivered last Thursday is still on the factory floor being produced. What that means is if we have a cold front, the general part of the courthouse will be cool. We'll have to wear sweaters. It will also affect part of the old section of the jail. We are building a contingency plan in case we do have a cold front that drops the temperature significantly, that we can put in line heaters or other devices into the air handlers that feed the fifth floor, keep it up and operational in compliance at Amoresco's cost, obviously.
Okay. You know what's interesting? I got an email about a week and a half ago.
I saw
Now, I
that.
forwarded it to you. All of a sudden, out of clear blue, somebody wanted to know if we need to rent heaters and air conditioners and other things.
Yeah, I saw that. James Lane is obviously working on it as well with Amoresco to ensure that if we do have a significant cold front in the forecast, that we can address that before it becomes an emergency.
Didn't need it yesterday or today.
No, and the extended forecast looks good, but the temperature is starting to drop, and we're subject to having one of those massive drops in temperature at any time now, so we want to make sure we get ahead of the problem.
Yes, sir.
There is a low pressure system sitting off to the northwest, but it's not gonna penetrate us, according to the latest
Now,
prognostication.
which do you put more faith in? What's on Facebook or the weatherman? I just want to know where you're banking on that.
Equal. I do my
Okay.
own, I don't.
We've also been on fire watch in 4 and 5 since Thursday. The new system is not communicating with the servers or servos that drive the dampers, et cetera, for the Aerovac system. So it's caused us to be on fire watch. Again, any additional overtime or anything's being covered on the project.
Okay,
We're
good.
tracking it and we'll bill them as needed. Law enforcement project, it's continuing on well. Only, I wouldn't call it a hiccup, just a little change in direction. We're looking at changing some of the CMU walls, how the block walls are going into the non-secure areas, which will require us to take a trip down to Austin to visit with the jail commission to get further approval on the design change. That, as well as the G2 area pod that was shelled out. It was never an approved design, so we're having to go back and get that final approval for that design to be shelled out and what it would look like in the future. Other than that, that project's moving along pretty well.
Very good. Very good. We're supposed to have a meeting. I sent an email. I'm not sure when we're going to meet with HOK to discuss some of the issues on the engineering difficulties we've run into. So,
Yeah, their response about paying it back at the end, I think we need to.
told them they wouldn't like the interest rate
No.
on that.
I think we need to get ahead of it now.
Yes, sir. I do too. I'm not dealing with Wimpy on when I get my money for my hamburger. So, gosh, there are only a couple of people old enough to know what I was talking about.
I'll be glad to pay you on Tuesday for
yeah.
a hamburger today.
Yes, yes, sir. Okay. Anyone in the audience, have anything come up they had a comment about? Yes, ma'am. Ms.
Did
Loretta.
the engagement letter with Nicole Parkhurst and Horton get on the agenda? I don't think Ladonna sent in a request, but I
I
didn't
thought
see
it was
Did we
last
already
week,
approve
wasn't it?
Yeah, it's
Last week, Molly,
it's
Oh,
been
last week.
approved, waiting legal
Okay, well,
referral
it's
to
all
me.
good.
Okay, all right, yeah. But they did get their extension, from IRS to do that.
Okay, I've got it here for you to sign.
All right, great. Well, I'm going to get the other one then. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Okay, Commissioner Beecham.
I have nothing, Judge.
Commissioner Muller?
Good news on our Roller Road project. Bridge is in, and we're starting raising that road level, which will take care of a major flooding problem that we had in that neighborhood. And Precinct 2, Precinct 3 have coordinated on this and participated and shared the cost, as a matter of fact, to make that possible. And this is the second one of those projects that we've done this year. And as we try to move toward doing things not so much from a patching standpoint, but fixing some things that will bring value to the taxpayers of Wichita County long-term. And we're headed in that direction. This is the second one of these we've done, and we really like the way it's turning out. It's something we won't have to go and address time and time again, and it's going to open that area up for many residents who would get flooded in, and Darrell would have to take the 6x out there and get them all out. But we should be working on that this week and getting our part of that done, and we're real anxious to get that opened back up and get it moving forward. But once again, I think we're moving in the right direction on some of those things. This weekend, the Wichita County Mounted Patrol will be having their truck and tractor pull, and the proceeds from that go to volunteer fire departments of Wichita County. So come out and have a good time and support our volunteer fire departments. They desperately need fundraising. and worked very hard to do so, and the Mounted Patrol is gonna have that event, and after the bills are paid, they're gonna hand the proceeds over to the volunteer fire departments of Wichita County. So I think that's a great deal, and nobody's gonna have more fun than I do. They're bringing big motors, and I'm going, so anyway, it'll be fun. But a great way to support your volunteer fire departments that do such a great job day in and day out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Watts?
Yes, Judge, Barry speaking about the tractor pull, one of the most popular kid events at the state fair, which I was at this past weekend, was the kids tractor pull, which was a pedal pull. And it was, they had it rigged up, they were sharp, and those kids loved that, and that took some, a lot of activity going on at that booth. The auction coming up, Darrell, in Burke Burnett.
Yes, sir.
And I think do y'all know the date? I was trying to find.
November, help me, Darrell. I saw it the other day.
I got
I received a text, but
Brian.
I didn't get the date on it.
But if there's some stuff that y'all would like to do, if we could help you move some of that too. I spoke to Garland yesterday. I saw him, and we've got a truck over there and we may not be able to round it up by then, but it'd be an ideal item to go if possible.
I think the district attorney's office is needing to sell some vehicles. I'm not sure what it was, and then we've got maybe one or two that we're gonna take over and run. We've got 14 out there waiting to sell, probably through online, and that's the reason why we're doing that is because you can't operate them. They don't have a motor or transmission or whatever, so just gonna sell those as parts.
Well, and I think
It's at the city property, isn't it?
yes, a city property close to Precinct 2 yard, 2 or 3 blocks away, I think, but
There's been sales up there before.
do y'all have some pallet, Brian had mentioned to me, popular auction today is those array on a pallet, and when we did the annex last year, kind of organized and stuff, did y'all make some items for that are shrink wrapped and?
Yes, I think the trustees put together some, and we put them on a trailer, then haul them.
Because we've got a big gooseneck, if you need to do that, flatbed, that set them off, or if that's something you want to go. But.
Sure.
And Curtis, you sent us an email about chip seal, and I wanted to make sure, did you mean dollars spent in the effort of chip sealing, or actually oil and rock that went down on roads?
What I was needing on that was the roads that you worked on, and I believe yours was 2017, and the number of miles you actually covered.
But you mean that we poured oil and put rock on? For example, if we'd have chewed up a road, if we'd have milled it up for the next coming spring, would you consider that road work that needed to be in the list?
Anything that you put down rock and oil on,
Well,
is that what?
no, that,
No, we bring in a machine in 17 maybe and grind the road up, and then roll it, pack it, and let it set.
Yeah, there's a cost associated with bringing in the zip machine.
Yeah, so anything, if you did that.
The following year, we would actually put the oil and the rock on the road, but the previous year,
That was just prep work then?
prep work for chip sealing.
Are you looking for a total cost? Is that where we're headed? Is it?
We're trying to create a year by year to see, try to make a projection maybe of where we're going.
Well, it's hard to do because some of these roads that are in really good shape, we'll go in and just put a chip seal on top, and it's a lot less expensive than to go in, zip it, rebuild the base, and build it. So we really need probably 2 different categories to find out what our real expenses are to be able to compare.
Because this would distort a cost of oil and rock, it's over and above. Barry may do the same mileage and never grind his.
It takes as much to prep it as it does for materials to pave it, basically, if you're doing the full deal.
On some roads, you're only doing a single course chip, and some roads you do a double course too.
That's right,
So
and when you do
to-
the base rebuild, when you zip it up to the base rebuild, you're gonna do a 2 course, you're gonna do a 5/8 and a 3/8 to get it like you want it. So we probably ought to break it out into 2 or 3 categories, so we've got, and I like the idea of having the numbers, we need the numbers.
So, yeah, so if you could break it out, that would be great.
Yeah, and that way you could compare,
Miles zip,
Yeah.
single course chip, and then,
Right.
then double course chip.
and we need those numbers. We talked about it during the budget session to look at some efficiencies in that deal, and that's the only way you're gonna find it, is find out where you've been and what the historical is, so.
Right, so, yeah, break out, that, knowing that now,
Yeah.
a breakout would be perfect.
Be great to have about a 3-year, comparison.
The, a couple of emails that I saw over the weekend, as well, there was an individual that, had sent Lee an email. Did y'all see that?
Yes.
And he wanted to basically stop all the services in the county and forego those taxes that are associated with it. Now, I don't know that I agree necessarily about those, but he was adamant about the fact, don't fix his road, don't do anything, let everybody go home, and I just was kind of blown away.
Yeah, that's kind of how I read the email too.
Yeah.
It just, yeah.
And so, the,
Yeah, he'd be the first one back here in about 3 years saying,
well, I just was, I was kind of stifled by it that someone would write that. And then yesterday, Donna Long sent me something from a Connie Burton, the Texan. What is that?
that's a new political action group, I think was just formed in the last year, something like that.
I responded to Donna and asked, where does Connie's expertise come from there? She wanted us to model after Colleyville, where, you know, the appraised values soar through the roof every single year, and she thinks that everybody needs to take example from them and lower that rate, like the city council's done in Colleyville, where, you know, she doesn't realize they're lowering the rate, and they still make more money than they did the year before.
Right.
Well, there's some counties with 20-cent rate. That's
She's
got the
missing
high
that.
appraisals,
And then
yeah.
she gets on to a county judge here and wants something about school funds. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. I
And
hadn't
I'm
figured that
thinking,
one out yet.
I
but-
couldn't understand why the county judge had anything to do with school
Well,
funds.
you know, we used to have the county consolidated ISD. It was countywide, and they finally did away with those years ago, but actually, it was all at one, each county had a school district.
Makes a lot more sense than what we have right now.
Well, yeah, we'd only have 254 districts.
I was miffed by the whole take on this program here that she's, I just didn't know what the Texan actually was, who she was, and what the deal was, but I didn't follow her logic in so many instances. And did y'all receive that as well?
I didn't realize, I saw your response, and I didn't see her initial one, or I'd answered her direct, but I will talk to her. But, you know, I think what is unfortunate, and we went through this last week, but if we had not captured that little over a penny value to put in for next year to start to replenish the permanent improvement fund, then we'd be constantly borrowing money to do that, which then raises taxes. This way, we can probably stay pretty level with that and replenish that fund, and just have to put some projects down the road and hope we can grow faster than inflation on those projects. That's a difficult thing to do, and it might take a combination of some borrowing to do that. But it eventually is going to have to be that we change how we do business, or we change how much we do, because it's not going to last much longer.
No. And that concerns me, because just the sheer cost of copy paper, the sheer cost of any kind of coverage, health or otherwise, is going up, and new tires we buy for vehicles cost more every single year, and I don't know.
One of the reasons they're going to be very interested to see the results on that paving process, because what we have seen over the years is, even though the oil market down again this morning, by the way, sealing oil, which is the last thing to come out in the refining process, it's whatever's left upward, continues to go up. And our cost of construction, you know, everybody wants to compare this to the the consumer price index, it has nothing to do with that. They're looking at Post Toasties and a gallon of milk and all that. It's not what we're buying. And the things that we're having to purchase, from industrial grade things to meet jail quality standards and all that, it has nothing to do with the CPI. It doesn't connect at all. It's completely different. And it is, the inflation rate on it is much higher than what the CPI would normally be, which has been fairly kind the last few years. It's a different world. But I'm anxious to see that ceiling oil trend, because I know it's up considerably.
Well, it never has gone back down.
Never has gone
No.
back down. You know, it's only been up. Plus, the transportation costs are higher.
Right. Had a few things. Starla Jones, longtime assistant district attorney, we're having her retirement this afternoon at 2:30 in this room. And then the meeting tomorrow and with the Texas Veterans Commission and the County Veterans Service Officer that we have, along with Commissioner Mahler and me, we are moving that office into existence. October 15th is the date we'll have done some training and and we really hope to go back to an office that's open from 8 to 4. And the time before that and after that, actually the hours will be 7:30 to 4:30, but the building doesn't open until 8. So the people going in there will get their stuff organized and finish it up at the end of the day and hopefully get everything sent off. We're working on getting our new personnel accredited, but we've got one experienced state counselor. When I say experienced, if you put him relative to Tim that's been doing it for a week, and this guy's been doing it a year and a half. So at any rate, we're trying to beef up the presence of both of those and get those offices back to functioning and taking care of our veterans. And we're getting some help from the outlying veterans office. They've agreed to take some people if they've got a situation we can't get taken care of. But what people don't necessarily realize here, we process what people want in a way of they think they have a claim. We don't adjudicate it. We don't decide it. We tell them the information they need, and that's decided at Waco and then on to the federal level from the regional Texas Veterans Commission office. So we're working on that. For those of you that follow IDEA Wichita Falls, Wednesday evening out at Midwestern, they're having a reception to recognize the winners of that, and that's always kind of interesting. Thursday is the Burke Volunteer Fire Department banquet. And then one other thing I want to kind of bring up was Lindeman Parking Garage. We have conveyed that to the city of Wichita Falls and sent out an email, asked for everybody to let us know who was there. And right now, we do have enough parking spaces to accommodate everyone. They will likely be on the uncovered top floor. The city is bidding those out. What they're looking for is $50 for any of the covered parking and $30 for up on top. But they have said if they don't fill those, then we will get some of the slots in the covered area. But they will close that garage for a period while they do some repairs in it. And I look for that to be sometime next month that they'll give us, hopefully a week's notice, and people have to make other arrangements for parking. And that will come out of Pat Hoffman's office after the 4B board goes over that. And last thing, commissioners, that we had a call, and I can't figure this out, and the guy, we've yet to talk, but I keep getting messages from him, from the National Fish and Game people wanting to know how many paved and unpaved roads we have in the county, and I think Debbie has worked with you all on that.
Yes, and we have submitted our list, Judge, and she's typing that.
We got ours in.
Yeah.
And who was that from? Who was the request?
National Fish and Game or Parks and Wildlife. I
wonder how they use that information.
I have not been able to catch up with the guy. I'm just kind of curious, but it's a public information request, and so, and it's something we should have had in our repertoire. Have had in the past. I just don't know how it's been.
We've had it, it's just not been in that form.
Judge, and on that note, Bill Elder called me this past week, and we've worked, Nancy's helped with it. I spoke to Willie. Debbie spent some time drilling through, but when Willie, the term is jury of view?
Jury of view.
Of view.
Yeah.
And so if I look at a particular road in Pumpkin Center, it indicates that the road is existent where it's not existent. And Bill wanted to know the general process of what happened when a road was established back in the day, in 1900, let's say, or late 1800s. And I guess they were added over time, and I'm not aware of one in the real recent, but we do on subdivisions and things have a creation of a road that we'll accept. But what was the recording device outside jury of view, which is apparently someone traveled by buggy and looked at the area and then made the comments of what that should become a county road? But was there court action taken to say go from this longitude, latitude, or whatever mark from here to we're going 4 miles this way? And then the court would approve the order for that? How did that typically work?
It worked a number of ways, as I understand it. Of course, that's even before my time. But you had roads, the common thing was a road by subscription, I believe was the term, that over a period of years it had just been used and became a public road, even though the land was owned by, one landowner or two landowners coming together. Much like right now inside city limits, often you own the property to at least up to the edge of the road in that easement area, and you have to maintain it, but it's not really yours. We don't require people in the county to do that because of the massive difference in it. But the big issue then becomes when someone, there was some property dealt with out in the county that a road started in Valley View and went a certain distance, but the people claimed it went all the way to the river.
Right.
Actually, the real estate agent who was trying to sell it was
Right.
wanting to say, y'all need to fix this road all the way.
Right.
Well, it had never been accepted by the county, and the landowner, one of the things that we try not to have is a county road that goes to somebody's house down here, and they've got a gate here. That's not a public road then. And I watched a battle near some property we have in Stevens County where they had a gate across it, and they finally were convinced, and the court was convinced, that the county couldn't maintain that road if they kept that gate across it. But they have a cattle guard. Now, that's permissible. So,
Well, Judge, if you'll recall, when the Red River dispute started, we had a dog in that hunt, certainly from the standpoint that we had landowners that were being affected by that, but also one of the questions that I had is if we do go up there and we name that federal property, are we gonna be required to extend all those roads that go up there within a mile of it or so and extend them all the way out to the river? And that was a grave concern of mine, that it'd be a tremendously expensive deal, plus going across a lot of people's private property, which you don't wanna do.
Right.
That was one of the reasons that we took such an interest in that thing, is what did it mean for us down the
Right.
road if they did go ahead and designate that as public land? And hopefully that's not gonna happen, but that would be a major expense and a major problem just to get access.
yeah. And that was one of the fears of the landowners, was having all this blatant access to their land, which meant for going out there, bonfires, river bottom parties, all those things that led to fires and destruction of their property.
Bill Elder, an extremely sharp fellow that's worked on property his entire life here as an attorney and dealt with many of those kind of matters, did not recognize the term, and we discussed it, that Willie gave me on jury of view. I'd never encountered that. I thought Willie was speaking of the format of Laserfish. It took me a while to understand what he was actually saying, but Nancy just showed me where they were appointed for a given period of time, a jury of view that was actually put together, and they served all the ones appointed would serve a given time there, and
And Bill Elder was one of the go-to guys.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, he was
yeah.
the guy you really wanted his opinion, yeah.
While we're in history, there was a book I found when I was commissioner in the vault down there, and it was an overseer's book. And there was a person in it, acted like a commissioner, but they went around and took that little drag behind road scraper plow deal, and each person along there had to take their turn of maintaining the roads, and the overseer kept it in that book. Now, they weren't paid to do that.
It was a log, I think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a log.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was dated back.
That's a
in
novel
the-
concept.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Right.
we have come a little farther along than that. Okay. Anyone else, anything else to be brought up for the good of the county?
One question.
Yes, sir.
We're moving all the vehicles out of Lindeman. Do we need to set up some reserved spaces over in our other parking lot for like adult probation, et cetera?
Probably ought to talk to them about that,
Okay.
but I don't know reserved then, or are you going to enforce it? I'm going to tell you right now, if they park towards the back of the lot,
Yeah.
but not all the way up against, I'm going to bet you people in those, Mathis West and some of those other use that public lot there. We don't control those.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know how long the Lindeman building will be out of service while they do that, and but they've supposedly gotten bids on what they're going to do and all that.
Just a thought.
Yeah, but we did communicate those 6 vehicles. For a while, we were over the 30 slots. Now we're under the 30 slots. We're taking care of county personnel, county vehicles, and others at office, appraisal district, community supervision, corrections, So right now, we're within our 30, but the questions, they're not going to be near as neat if they're up there on top of the building.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they probably will stay in the lot, our lot across
yeah,
the street.
yeah. Other than I think CSCD probably wants to park their vehicles in there for security purposes.
I was over there Friday and drove through there and looked at that, and there's a few of them we can't identify. Chief Schultz, we were looking for the keys for one of them, and we have no idea where the vehicle even came from. We thought it was an Explorer, but it's an Expedition.
That's gonna be,
Was that a DA's?
yes, that's what Albers used to drive.
Okay, all
And
right,
then
that makes sense.
There's another Dodge there that's one of that Danny Martinez had. I can't think of the,
And there's an F-150 in there that looks like it's been there a while.
yeah, that's gonna be, part of the DA's office too.
Okay.
DED.
They have a number of seized vehicles in there.
Well, yeah, you can pick those out, but I mean,
Okay.
these look like these were their fleet one time.
Okay.
There's one in there that we had to hold, and we're gonna move it somewhere, I'm not sure where yet, but it has to go through the appeal. It was, using a crime, so we've gotta hold it through the appeal process. It's that one, the old white one that's got the windows down.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a cat's home, you know.
right,
Well,
nice, yeah.
well guarded. Okay, all right. Good enough. Thank you all. It is 11:04 and we're adjourned.